and gentlemen. Thank you for taking time to attend the Cybersecurity Hands-on Lab session by HP and Microsoft. This is actually a part 2 session from the previous general session if you have attended last Thursday on 5th August. Today's session will be 3 hours till 5 p.m. and it will cover on multi-threaded and multi-layered security approaches and how you can strengthen your on-premise and hybrid security. Before we begin, we'd like to go through with you a few housekeeping rules. Firstly, please ensure that you're in a non-destructive environment during the webinar session and put your mobile devices on silent mode. If you have any questions along the way, please submit your questions in the chat window and we'll answer them as soon as possible. Alternatively, if you wish to ask a question, please raise your hand and our speakers will address it when we can. Please refrain from unmuting yourself to ask questions while the presentation is ongoing. Please note that today's webinar is also being recorded for audit purposes. Next, we would like to share with you on some key features you will need to participate in today's webinar. If you hover to the bottom of your window, there's a control bar. On your control bar, you will see a few icons. Firstly, we'd like to talk to you about the chat icons. If you have any questions, please submit in the chat box and our speakers will address it. Alternatively, if you wish to ask a question, please click on the raise hand icon and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thirdly, if our speakers have anything to share, they can send the message in the chat window and you'll be able to retrieve it from there. Lastly, the link for the post-webinar survey will also be sent in the chat and you can click on it to submit your feedback at the end of the session. Now that we are all familiar with the features and ready to begin, let's welcome Noel to start this presentation. Noel, please.
Thank you, Beatrice. Welcome, everyone. First and foremost, I think it's important for us to understand how this hands-on workshop will work out. All right. As usual, we always have overwhelming reception. Right? We have actually more than 30 people who have registered. So there is a list that we will be using shortly to provide an understanding of who gets to stay in this hands-on workshop. Right? Those who receive an email directly from D&M actually have a seat. Right? Those of you who joined us and did not get an email directly from D&M, you can join us for the demo session that we're going to start at 3 o'clock. Right? And if we get enough quorum, right, there's no issues. We can even start a little bit earlier. Right? So the people who get to stay in this room, all right, are the ones that are joining for the demo session. The ones that is doing the hands-on, we will be moving you to a breakout room. Okay, so there's a list of people with their names for their breakout room, right? And we will share that shortly, right? In the meantime, I want to quickly go through a few, if you want, introduction slides regarding this particular event, Work From Home 2021, right, if you want. Okay. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you. Welcome everyone again. My name is Noel. Right. Pretty much I support the HP and Microsoft team across this region for many activities, including events such as this Work From Home 2021. Right. And it's important to know that this is a series of, if you want, webinar / hands-on workshop that we've been running. Back in June, we did one on hybrid IT, and I believe some of you were also in that session. So I'm glad you are back for this cybersecurity session, and I hope you found value. I'm going to go through briefly a demo that Clement went through last week. Right? And I know some of you were very thrilled to see his demo, and I believe he's going to join us shortly as well. So I'm sure we'll get him to say hi. Right, and we also had that panel group. So the video is ready, right? So when you get my slides, this is the link for that video, okay? So once you click on it, you will be able to see end to end the recording from last week, right? So that you can actually get to go through everything that Clement covered, and even Priyanka, and then the panel group discussion that we had, Proven, Adash from Intel, as well as Sastry from Microsoft, right? So that plus also the bits later that we talked about from a multi-layered security perspective. Of course, today we've got the hands-on portion of it. Okay, but I wanted to give you a glimpse on why cyber threats have become such a serious problem. I think a lot of that has been attributed even to the situation due to COVID-19 that's amplified the need to remotely work or work from home if you want. And of course, Clement talked about ransomware and even some of these problems with the demands, payments increasing and so forth. So there's a lot of these issues that is becoming systemic, if you want, right? And very scary. And I know Clement also mentioned things like phishing and so on. So later in the main hall, which is this one, I'll go through a short session that Clement did for us a few nights ago, all right, so that you get an insight on the threats that are looming right over our head. So truly, these attackers are going after our data, right? So this user data is what that's, if you want, creating this buzz in the cyber world, right, with these criminals. So you see a lot of all these problems like stealing even credentials and so forth, so that they can get inside information about the customer, about the users that they are targeting. All right, this is what Clement called the recon. All right, they are doing a recon on the situation to see who best that they can target, right, to make victims of customers from a business email compromise perspective. Right? So this identity data threat, right, is very serious. And those of you who think that it's only Windows systems that are being targeted, sadly it's not, right? Even the Linux systems and even the VMware servers are being targeted. So anything that cyber hackers can attack and get money from, they're going after that, okay? So these problems have become very, very vicious, if you want, okay? So I tried to capture some of these things to give you an additional perspective and also for you to share on with your friends, your colleagues, and so forth. Right? So zero trust is something that we talked about, right, during last week's session. I urge you to watch that through, all right, so that at least your customers, and even if you're an end user customer in this session, you learn how to prevent this problem, all right, of being or allowing attackers to come into your environment and start stealing and elevating their permissions. Okay. So zero trust allows us to assume breach, which means that no one is considered trusted. Doesn't matter how senior you are in management and so forth. So your permissions cannot automatically be used, all right, by a attacker that has managed to gain access into your system. Right? So this is a serious problem that has revealed itself, all right. This bug plus more that's come in has opened up a hole for attackers to attack the VMware, vCenter servers, and so forth. Okay. So use this information to update your customer, right? It's important that you share this. And of course, this is something I'm going to share a little bit more later, but what I wanted to do was just to show you a video, all right, of what the demo that Clement did, all right. He called it the mosaic regressor. Okay. And this is the video that I put online for you. Okay. Hopefully the sound comes through.
Word document that I'm going to open it up. So it's on another computer. So I'm going to connect that computer and I'm going to share it to you. So you'll be able to see that computer. I'll quickly run through the defenses in that computer. Okay. So you can see the secure boot is on. You can see the virus and threat protection is on. All defenses that you might already have on your machine is there on the machine. Fully patched Windows
Clement,
machine.
can hear Clement.
All
welcome, Clement.
Cleaned, right? Runs an EDR, Windows Defender ATP. Okay. On it, on an EDR perspective. Okay. Right. So everything is running on this machine here. So I'm going to show you all of that and I'm going to open up the Word document. Then I want you to introduce to my colleague, my team member, Mr. Ganesh, who's going to actually show the remote access Trojan from a hacker perspective as a command and control server. So once I show my machine, the victim machine, and I open up the Word document, I will transfer it to Mr. Ganesh, who will then share his screen and show what has happened on his command and control side and how much of access that he has on this computer where I opened a Word document. Are we clear, guys? Are you ready for it? Okay, so here we go. Let me actually take my system off. From here, I'll stop my screen share. We come back here, right? So I'm going to actually share my screen from the victim machine. I'm going to share my screen from the victim machine, okay? So let me go and share my screen on the victim machine. Share screen of my victim machine. So you are now seeing my victim machine, right? So this is my victim machine. Let me quickly open up the virus and threat protection on that machine. Virus and threat protection. So if you look at the virus and threat protections right on your screen, it has picked up current threats, right? It has picked up some host file hijack that has happened on 30th July, right? So it has picked up things across. So it is a working, and all of this is pretty much on. Your virus threat protection, your ransomware protection, so everything is pretty much on. Your account protection is all on. Your firewall and network protection is all on. So we have not disabled anything that has actually comes out of the box. Happen and browser control, isolated browsing, exploit protection, everything is on. Your device security, your core isolation, your security processor, the trusted platform module that I spoke to you earlier in the session, secure boot, everything is on, okay? So, right, so all the securities that you can ask for is pretty much on. Now, let me start the process. So this is a simple Word document, right? So I've not made it look so genuine with a real report inside, with a real, invoice inside kind of a stuff. I've just actually opened up a normal firmware document, right? So I just open up a firmware document, just a normal invoice. This can be anything. This can be anything, right? This can be anything inside here as a content. Since it's a demo, I've just made it simple, right? It can be anything. So as I've actually opened this, there is a malware that runs in that Word document. So I've opened it and I've closed it. So nothing has happened on my screen here. The screen looks perfectly clean. See, there are few things that can happen. We can open a malware and the malware can actually be flushed into your systems and it can take over your system. Sometimes it might go for a reboot. Sometimes it might not. The advanced malwares on a firmware level, like the one that we are using, doesn't ask for a reboot at all. It just goes and attaches itself. So now I want to actually transfer the control. So let me stop sharing on the victim machine. So the victim machine is right in front, or rather to the left of me here, okay, right? So I'm going to stop the sharing here and I'm going to pass the control to Ganesh. Ganesh, you're on, buddy. Show us the command and control center.
Yes, let's get down to it.
So what you're seeing now is the command and control center that's happening on Ganesh's side. Ganesh, does he look like a hacker for you? Okay, right, go ahead.
Right, so very simple. Just turn on the PC rack. Wait for Clement system to pop up. There you go. Asia, IP port, hardware ID, OS. It's very generic information, not to worry. Scary part comes here. Can you see his screen now? Same screen you saw earlier.
Oh, so is it real time? If I open up,
definitely. Please move your cursor.
Yeah, if I actually move the cursor, it actually moves. Okay, let me actually go and open up something, okay? Let me open up a notepad and say, hi, everyone. Huh. That's a real-time flow that's happening on it. Let everyone see the high, okay?
Yeah.
There you go. Wonderful. Back to you, Ganesh.
All right. Next, we can go for websites. There you go.
A Chinese malware taking you to a Chinese website. Well, that's Greek and Latin for me. I know nothing about it. I don't have a Chinese girlfriend, so sorry, I can't. The only thing that is this, I have a Chinese vaccine. Maybe I can start reading Chinese later. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Right. And then we have the scary one.
Oh my God.
There you go.
I feel now my privacy is gone, man. That's a real feed that's coming up. Why am I looking so plump? Okay, all right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. So you can see that there's a lot more features over here. Really, really a lot more. Simple as process manager. I can kill any EDR running here. It's not an issue for me. There's some other malwares.
DDoS, ransomware, yep, password recovery, yep. Great. So guys, so this is just a quick demo for you to see how much of control that a hacker gets by you just clicking on something.
So I hope that whet your appetite, all right, to come and watch this video. All right, so the video is on the slide, and I'm going to post it onto the chat window as well, so that those of you who have a delay in getting the slides, at least you don't get delayed on watching the video. All right, I urge you to go through it, because I've gone through it a couple of times, and I realized that every time I go through it, I pick up more valuable insights into the world of cyber threats and so forth. All right, and I know many of you are here to increase your learning and so on. Okay, so what I want to do next is to pass you on to the team, all right, to give you a overall understanding of the labs to start with, and then very quickly review the names of the people who are going over to the breakout room, who is going to be doing the actual labs themselves. All right, and Cole, you ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, over to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'll share the screen. Thank you very much. Thank you now.
Welcome.
Everyone can see my screen?
Yes,
we can see.
Yes, awesome.
All right. Welcome everyone. All right. During this pandemic period, please stay safe and stay connected. Security has to be multi-threaded and multi-layered, even powered by the cloud with the growing and accelerating cyber threats and crime. This hands-on experience brings together all this from on-prem to hybrid security. All right. Let me turn on my video. I'm Cole. Let me introduce the topics that we are going to cover in today's hands-on lab session. First of all, we'll be covering one of the built-in features in Microsoft Windows 10 called Windows Sandbox, which provide a lightweight desktop environment to safely run applications in isolation. Software installed inside the Windows Sandbox environment remain sandbox and run separately from the virtual machine, apart from the host machine. Secondly, we will covering Windows built-in security features called Windows Security, which provide virus threat protection as well as application and browser control. Moving forward, to bring system protection to next level, Microsoft's Defender for Endpoint is one of the great solutions users should consider, right? Microsoft's Defender for Endpoint provides live response, featuring protection capability against automated investigation for fileless attack and document drop backdrop attack, right? So this is what Microsoft Defender for Endpoint will provide for us, which is available on the hands-on tools. Furthermore, from a Windows Server perspective, we will get users to experience the beauty of Windows Admin Center, a modern evolution of inbox browser-based management tools for the purpose of server management, hybrid cloud mode with connecting server to Azure Cloud, onboarding server to Azure Security Center, testing Azure Security Center alerts, right? Exploring Azure Security Center as well, right? Last but not least, exploring Azure Sentinel, right? Without further ado, let's start the hands-on lab today, all right? Thank you. Over to you, Noel.
Noel is muted.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So we're going to move the people who are doing the labs over to the breakout room. All right. Are we ready with the list?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do we can we share the list on the screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's share the list on the screen so that the individuals who are moving get to eyeball the list, and then they can
Yep, you're all able to see the screen, right?
Yep. Sure thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the reason, as I shared earlier, for this particular approach is so that we can actually continue to do more sharing for those who remain in this room, right? Sadly, we don't have enough machines to go around for everyone. I know quite a lot of people registered for it, right? But we only have 30 seats available, right? So we do have 30 seats. In fact, we have a bit more than 30 seats, but let's see how many remaining. Because if there are people who don't show up within the next 10-15 minutes, we actually will open up the seats to the rest, right?
Correct. So, Noel, as of now, we see 7 people who has registered. Okay.
Yep.
Hi, everyone. So, how it works, I'll just brief you everyone. Okay. So, for every individual, we have allocated a separate VM. Okay. You need to be logging in with any desk. Any desk is the option for remoting into the VM environment. Okay. And you have a facilitator for each and every attendee. So, for example, if I take Peter Tan, for Peter, Co would be helping you when you move into the breakout room. And in the chat window, we will be sharing the link for downloading AnyDesk, and we will be sharing the document as well, the lab guide, so that you can use it. Okay, so in the chat window, I have already shared the login details for everyone. And if anyone is still missing in the list, please ping us on the chat. Accordingly, we will update. I think Rick Wilson, I have it to paste for you. Yeah. So all this attendees, whatever we have mentioned here, all the 7 people will be moving into the breakout room. So accordingly, your facilitator will help you to start your labs. Yeah. Noel will be moving them to.
Okay.
Yep.
So go ahead. Yep.
All right. I'm starting the room now.
How many people do we have for the hands-on so far?
As of now, 7, Noel.
Wow. So we have plenty of seats.
Yep.
Okay. After we move the 7, let's see how many more seats we have remaining, and then you let the people who are in the group go into it. What do you think?
Yes. So
rather than
Zailani
waiting the
as well.
seats, right?
Yes. Zailani, yes, we have allocated you the lab. It is 813. I'm just sharing it to you again in the chat window. You see in the chat window 1S813. That's assigned for you.
What I want to do is, for the interest of time, and you made time to come, all right, I'm going to start off by sharing something that Clement shared a few nights ago that was very interesting, right? It starts with this area called the cyber kill chain, right? And I think this aspect of security is very important. Understanding how if you want, the hackers do reconnaissance on the victims that they want to attack, right? And how they weaponize the solution so that they can attack and so forth. And these aspects all need to be taken into consideration, that there are ways we can prevent these things. And it's important to understand that in the world today, we're seeing an increased amount of attack and defend approach that we need to think about all the time. And from a defend, you want to also think about how you can isolate the problem when an attack managed to get through your defense, right, and so forth. Right, but understanding the attackers, understanding the methods that they use, how they deliver the exploits, and so on, this helps elevate the awareness of how you can help your customers and help yourselves, if you want, defend against these attacks. Okay, so let me just go through this session, all right, which we have recorded for you. All right, in fact, Clement is in the other room. All right, and we can definitely go into a Q&A whereby you can do a live session with him and get him to share more. All right, and I think that's where the value is. Okay, let me just share the screen.
My certification course that I do across the world, there are a lot of people who have been trained from Nigeria, from Middle East, from a lot of OIC countries that we train under government to government training called as Global ACE. So the content comes from us. We develop content, labs, and all of that. So I've taken this particular slide, and what Rico asked, that assume breach is right over here. Okay, so I thought of going through that module number 1 right from here with some demos of different types of attacks and how we actually protect ourselves from them, because these are all the latest attack trends. So we can't go wrong anywhere there. But as we go on, we'll add in a whole lot of others. Right, just to get started with an introduction, let me just jump right over here. So for those who are new to this group or you're seeing me for the first time, I'm Clement. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for cybersecurity, a firm called as Cybertronium. We work with Cybersecurity Malaysia, the government agency, for consulting, forensics, training services across this region. We have customers across the industry verticals, whether it's financial organizations or agencies or small, medium enterprises, right, from all sizes. So those are all my awards and certifications. So yeah, pretty much I live, eat, breathe, whatever in cybersecurity. So with that out of the way, okay, so that out of the way, come on guys, let's jump straight over here. Okay, now, slideshow. To start with, what is security? Because a lot of people get confused on that. The moment I actually buy a particular product, I'm gonna be 100% secure. There is no such product in the world. There is no such product. The moment you have that product, you're gonna be 100% secure. If that's the case, we are wasting our time from 7 o'clock to 9:30, okay? So it's not that there is a silver bullet that is available. There is no such silver bullet. So security is a process where we put in layers of defenses with an objective of making life difficult for an attacker. This is what is our main objective, right? So we are putting layers of defenses in place to make life difficult for an intruder, whether it's a physical security, or whether it is an IT security, or whether it is a data security, or whether it is a cyber security, right? Depending upon the scope, right? We have different terminologies, but the core is the same. A process of putting in layers of defenses to make life difficult for an intruder is what we call as security. So our main objective is to make life difficult, right? Because we can't make it 100%. One single wrong click can expose. So this is where a lot of people ask me, Clement, what do you mean by it can't be 100%? We have an antivirus. Then why are we having an antivirus? Right? Why are we having a firewall? Why are the attacks still happening with the antivirus and the firewall? So we need to understand how our defenses work, right? Our classic traditional defenses works on signatures, patterns, and behaviors. So all our classic defenses work on signatures, patterns, and behaviors. Now, what is a signature, pattern, behavior? From a non-IT simple perspective, Signature means how does it look like? Pattern means how does it come into the computer? Behavior means when it enters into the computer, what all does it do? Okay, so all our traditional defenses work on these three principles: signature, pattern, behavior. How does it look like? How does it come into the computers or devices or assets? And what all it does in the computer. So for you to create this signature, pattern, behavior, someone have to get infected first. Like how COVID, right? Someone have to get infected first for us to find that it is a new virus, then understand the genome sequence, and then comes the vaccination and so on and so forth. So for us to capture the signature, pattern, and behavior, someone must get infected first. Once that someone gets infected, then we derive these three things.
Noel?
As called as virus
Yes.
definition.
Can we pause for a second? I think
This
someone
virus
wants to join the
definition is
HOL.
updated.
Yes, go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Zoe, can we help Yo Keng Chen to move to breakout room?
All right.
Yeah, we got seats, right, Amar?
Yeah. So he was pinging Nicole. He wants to join. So
Yeah, I think
Okay,
we
just move him over.
yeah, whoever wants to go, yeah, please.
correct.
Yeah,
So
make
I'm
it
just
happen.
assigning
Otherwise,
a lab for him.
yeah, otherwise the seats will be wasted, right?
Right.
Okay, thanks, Amar.
Thank you.
Bye.
All our antivirus instances across the world. So this is how an antivirus works. Our firewall also works the same way. It has a set of rules. If it is matched, it is a bad guy. If it is not matched, he's a good guy. All same. So these are all our static defenses. They are not dynamic defenses. So static defenses will not be able to pick up any new attack. Does it make sense? A static defense will not be able to pick up any new attack. A new attack, you have to get infected first, and then only the defenses might learn from it later or pick up the signature, pattern, or behavior later. So because of this, our protection mechanisms no longer works. See, we have endpoint protection, right? EPP. EPP is your antivirus. Your protection doesn't work because our protection technologies are pretty much static. They are not dynamic. So our EPP doesn't work. So if our static defenses do not work, that ends up with a lot of compromises. Whether it's our firewall, IPS, IDS, or whether it's our antivirus, all comes under that perimeter defense or EPP, endpoint protection. Now, once our EPPs are actually failing, what is our next step? So, since everyone across the world have acknowledged and agreed that protection and prevention is not possible. I cannot protect because the attacks are dynamic. My defenses are static. Hence, I cannot protect all the time. I don't even know what is coming towards me. I don't even know what is coming towards me. So how to prevent? You can prevent if someone is actually going to shoot you an arrow and you know where it is coming from, you can dodge. But if you don't even know what is coming towards you, how do you dodge? So protection and prevention is not possible. The whole world agrees on this single point, including the antivirus companies agrees that. And they say that antivirus, we are not a silver bullet. So everyone agrees and understands that protection and prevention not possible. So the entire industry of cybersecurity has moved away from your protection and prevention. And if you have seen the last couple of years, okay, everyone is talking about detection and response. Airways, 380,000 financial and personal details stolen, including names, addresses, credit card numbers, expiry dates, and 3-digit security code on the back of the card. Okay, The entire
Can you hear
web,
now?
mobile, everything was compromised.
Yep.
When
Yes.
did it happen?
Okay.
From August 21st to September 5, 2018. How long did it take for them to even figure it out that there has been a breach or an attack? It took more than 2 weeks to detect. Okay. Now, let's see some case studies, and then let's see how long does it take to detect. Okay. This is just to understand the base of the ecosystem. Since Rico said, yeah, assume breach. Okay. We put up that layer clear, and then we go into the detail. So, took 2 weeks to detect. Now let's the next one. Equifax, 148 million American social security number, personal details. Took 76 days to detect. A Canadian Imperial Bank, 90,000 customer personal and financial data stolen from bank. The bank had no clue about it until the hackers picked it up and said that, hey, we have your data. Here is a screenshot. 2018. Sing Health, near to us, 1.5 million Sing Health patient personal data records. Everything about prescriptions, the medical conditions, including the Prime Minister's medical record of Singapore, the current Prime Minister's. It took 11 months to detect. I'm not joking. That's the number that is in the official investigation report, a 54-page document publicly available, signed by the minister. So it's not the hearsay, it's the actual investigation report. 11 months to detect the attack. Are you seeing a consistent problem here? The detection of an attack, the mean time to detect an attack, like we call that as MTTD, mean time to detect an attack, is anywhere between weeks to months, sometimes years. Or we don't even know about it until it actually smacks right on our face with some data breaches. Schneider Electric, no detection until operation was totally shut down. State-sponsored attack on Australia, right? Attacks are happening all over the place, and the Prime Minister was literally crying on the press saying that, hey, we are getting tons and tons of attacks from state-sponsored attacks from China, right? DDoS attack on Amazon Web Services. They took some time to stabilize it. 24 hours plus, okay? So attacks are happening all over the place. Protection and prevention is not possible all the time. So we need to have something called as detection and response. So that is where we were here. So the assumed breach, there are two kinds of companies, those who have been hacked and those who don't know they have been hacked. So this is what we call as a famous quote from Mr. James Comey, ex-director of FBI. And many big companies, including Microsoft, Google, Apple, and everyone, follow this principle called as assume, breach. Yes, breach is inevitable. If it happens, what do you do? Do you have the necessary? They'll go to weaponizations, then to delivery, then to exploitation. Not necessarily. They can directly go to delivery. Deliver what? Some known exploits, so they don't have to weaponize it. Okay, so these are phases that an attacker goes through before a successful attack happens. So this is called as attack life cycle or a cyber kill chain. And these steps are internationally accepted steps. The moment you put cyber kill chain, everyone will tell the same story, which is on this particular screen. Okay, so it's not that Clement story, right? This is international story. What are the common steps the attackers take? Now, why do you need to know the steps? If you understand the steps intruder is going to take, for each of this step, what are the defenses that you have put in place? Simple as that. For each of this, what are the defenses that you have put in place? I'll talk from enterprise, and then I talk from an individual perspective also. Okay, so we'll have to protect ourselves individually as well as our companies. So before an attacker starts attacking anyone, they might have done some kind of background check, intelligence gathering or information gathering. Intelligence gathering or information gathering. That's called as reconnaissance. Now, there are different types of information gathering over here, guys. If they want to attack an individual, then they can actually collect information about that individual. What are the websites that you visit? What's your email address? What's your Facebook ID? What's your Twitter details? Who are all your family members? Which website do you go most of the time? Which are the social media websites that you have an account? What's your username and passwords that has been leaked in the dark web? So there's a lot of different things that an attacker can find if he wants to start from an individual. And an individual reconnaissance is very, very easy. 1 or 2 tools is enough. Anyone can map your entire personal life because that much of information each and every one of us are sharing. The amount of information we share in our Facebook and Instagram is enough to literally kill us repeatedly because we share so much of information. If you are not sharing, your children are already sharing. If you're not sharing, your friends are sharing, tagging you in it. So someone around you has been sharing about you if you have not been sharing either. So there's a lot of information that's out there. I'll show you some demos to get this concept solidified, okay? So from an information gathering, if I want to compromise an individual, I can start from the individual based information gathering. Okay, now, the second option is I'm not against an individual, but I want to compromise a company. So if I want to compromise a company, where do I start with? I can actually start with the company and all the technologies the company use in their organization, on their website, and who are all the people who are actually working in their organization. So I can use them to get inside the organization. What are the domains and subdomains of those organizations? As the organization has gone through any data breaches in the past, pull out that data. So the information gathered from a company is different than an individual. Now, the third type of information gathering is vulnerability specific. You would have heard the name vulnerability, right? The software weakness. So they are not targeting an individual. They're not targeting a company. They're targeting a vulnerability. For example, WannaCry, the notorious world famous WannaCry that infected more than 1 million computers worldwide. It exploited an SMB vulnerability in Windows 7, and Windows 2008 R2, and Windows Server 2003. All of these OSs were compromised with a vulnerability on SMB, which WannaCry exploited. So all the Windows machines was running on that operating system who did not patch that vulnerability was infected across the world. You know how many people? More than 1 million devices. More than 150 countries worldwide, 2017, 2018. So they are not gathering information about individual or the company. They are gathering information about the vulnerability. They are using the vulnerability to attack whoever is out there who's having that vulnerability. So all of these are reconnaissance or information gathering. Collect information, as much as information so that you can come up with the plan of attack. So once I collect the information, I need to weaponize. I need to create a malware to exploit the weakness that I have found in my information gathering. So if I have found an individual person's email address, and I have found his boss's email address. Now, how do I weaponize it? I can create a Microsoft Word document, and I can put a malware inside the Word document, and I can send an email as if it is coming from one guy to another guy, from the boss to the subordinate. If a subordinate receives an email from the boss with the boss's email address, exact email address, I'll show you, exact email address, with an attachment of a Microsoft Word document, will the subordinate open that document?
You guys
He will.
okay?
So for me to get that done, I have to create that Word document. Weaponization. For me to attack a WannaCry ransomware, I have to create that WannaCry malware, correct? Weaponization. If I want to attack a company's website, I found a vulnerability in the company's website. I want to attack it. I need to create an attack, right? That is weaponization. So weaponization is a process that is determined based upon the information gathering, and which will lead us to the next step.
Just pause, Clement, for a sec. Wei Ling, welcome. You joined the hands-on.
Sorry, yeah.
Yep. Zoe, you there?
Yes, I'm assigning reading.
Okay, great. Thank you. Enjoy, Wei Ling.
Thanks.
How do I? So I've created a malware based upon this information. How do I get this to the victim or to my target? Okay, he hasn't become a victim yet. Okay, how do I get this information to the target? That is when the delivery comes in. So you see that a logical flow in this? That is when the delivery comes in. I can deliver via an email, or I can deliver via an attachment, or I can deliver via a WhatsApp message. See, how many of us are actually, I think all of us use WhatsApp. We still use WhatsApp, even we know the privacy is going to be out of our window, and we have lost Facebook privacy long time back, but we still use Facebook, but we will actually sit and cry, oh, I am losing my privacy. Then why the hell are you still using Facebook? The world's worst spyware. So one side we cry about privacy, the other side we use softwares that kills privacy.
Give us a couple more minutes.
In the name of social sharing. So there must
Sure,
be
no
a
problem.
balance that we need to have first in our head. What are we trying to achieve here?
So
How much of information can I put in place? Then we talk about cybersecurity.
Great.
Right? So delivery, we know that all of us are using WhatsApp, and whether we like it or not, we have been added into WhatsApp groups, right? So there are people who are actually sending you good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all kind of images. Do we know who created those images? We don't know. What if that image has a malware embedded inside? The moment the image looks nice, you start forwarding it out. Or I send you an image via WhatsApp telling you that I am your vendor, or I am your new customer, or whatever. This is my requirement. Please click on it. Will you click on it? You might click on it. So delivery is via a WhatsApp image.
Okay, I'm going to stop here for now, right? I didn't want to run this all the way to the end, but don't worry, I'll be sharing most of this video with you as well, so that it helps deepen your learning. But what I wanted to do next was to take you through to the hands-on lab, but we have code to go through a demo end-to-end with you on the first part of the hands-on. So at least those of you who don't feel like clicking through the screen yourself and so forth, you can sit and watch Cole go through the lab with you, right? In the Microsoft world, we have this thing called the Instructor Led Lab, if you want. So Cole is our instructor for the next 10, 15 minutes. He's going to run through the entire lab that he's created and built for you. All right, and over to you, Cole. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Noel. So I will just go through the steps that is available on the labs, okay? So let me share my screen. Everyone, you can see the screen?
Yes.
So I'm at the manhole right now?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Okay, this basically is our VM, where it's the environment that we're going through for our hands-on lab. Okay. Alright. So to start with our hands-on lab today, our lab 0 is to prepare the machine to be onboarding to the Microsoft endpoint security, right? Microsoft Defender endpoint. Right. First of all, I will start my Microsoft Edge. Right. Then I will navigate to Microsoft endpoint, Defender endpoint, sites, right? In order to sign in, and I will onboarding my existing machine, which is this VM, into the Defender endpoint, right? So I will log in. Let me sign in. So it's going to the Microsoft Defender for endpoint, right? This will be the dashboard that you will be getting while you are signed into the Microsoft Defender for endpoint. So what I'm going to do is I will download the onboarding package for my VM, my particular machine. So I'll click on onboarding. Then I will just leave all the options as default. Then I will download the downloading package. When it's done, I will go to the folder, right? Because the downloading package name is a bit long, right? So I will rename it to a shorter, right? After I extract, right? Let's say I extract it. Right. So it's done. Then I will rename it to be shorter, right? After that, this will be the onboarding script that allow me to onboard my machine to the Microsoft Defender Security Center, right? Due to the name, the long name of the script, I will make it shorter as well, right? All set, right? I will call out the command prompt, right? I run it as an administrator. Right. Let's allow it to run. Then I will navigate to my profile. Mean. I will navigate to the folder that I extracted the onboarding package, right? So this is the endpoint folder that I extracted, and I rename it to be endpoint, and also the script that I renamed as a setup, right? From here, I will run the setup directly, right? And I will let it run. The system will request for my confirmation. Yeah, I will put yes. Then the script will run. Right. So while it's running, we'll make sure that it's onboarded. Right. So you can see that the machine has successfully onboarded to the Microsoft Defender for endpoint. So while waiting for the machine to be synced and available in the Microsoft Defender Security Center, so we will proceed for our the coming lab. Okay. So because it will take some time for the device to be synchronized and appear in the inventory list. All right. So I will carry on with my lab remaining. All right. So first of all, I will demonstrate how to use Microsoft Sandbox. Right. Microsoft Sandbox is a lightweight environment where it allows you to run those malicious application or files like in a secure manner, right? In a secure way, because Sandbox is a isolated and environment, so it won't harm your existing host machine. So first of all, I will turn on the Sandbox features, right? goes to the Microsoft turns Microsoft Windows features on and off. Then I would enable the Sandbox feature. Then I will click Start to let the window to install it. It will take a while the Windows are preparing the installation package. Then once the application is done, so it will restart. Let me wait for a while. This Sandbox, it will provide an environment to safely run an application in an isolation environment. Software installed inside the Windows Sandbox environment remains Sandbox and run separately from the host machine, which means that whatever things that you download or settings that you change in the Sandbox environment, it won't be safe while you cross the Sandbox application. So it will be pretty safe for you to do some testing, or open certain file that you are unsure, whether it's safe or not to be open. Let's check whether the machine is back. Seems to be not yet. We give it another time. Okay, come in. I will log in back. Sorry. I'm already logging in. So once it's logging in, I can search for the application. So you see where the Sandbox started. It runs like a lightweight Hyper-V and also called virtual machine on top of the host machine. So let the machine start. It will take for a while. Then it will come out with an environment that looks exactly as a second Windows. It's like a Windows inside your Windows machine. So here you go. Look fantastic, right? So what I'm going to do is I will go to some malicious site. Let's say I want to download some file that is not sure to be safe or not, right? For example, I go to iCar, right, to download some testing file. Let's do it. So this will be the iCar malware text file that are available for you to download and do some testing. Right? Let's say I download the zip file, right, to see whether it works. Oops, it's blocked by the Microsoft Edge browser. Right? What if I download the double layer zipped file? Right? So, it managed to download, right? So, for me, I'm not sure whether this file is safe or not. So by opening it in a Sandbox environment, I will pretty sure that it won't harm my host machine as well as my host network. So it is very safe for me to open it inside the Sandbox. All right. So in this scenario, I will open it directly. Okay. Let me unzip it. All right. Oh, it's a dual layer. So I unzip again. So here you go. This is the iCar text file that is hide inside a dual layer zip file. Right. So I'm going to try whether this file is safe to be opened or not. Let's open it. Oh, this seems to be a malicious file. Right. This message is pop out from Microsoft Smart Screen Defender, right? The Microsoft Security Defender. Right. So I know that this file is not safe. And I also pretty sure that because I'm running this in the Sandbox environment, it won't harm my host machine as well as my host network. So let's say I would like to close it, right? So I can just close it directly. And the warning message is telling that once you close the Windows Sandbox, all the content that would discard and delete probably will be lost permanently. So let's take a try, right? Because I have left all the file here, right? I left all the downloads, the file downloaded is the downloads folder, right? Let's close the sandbox and we come back to see whether those files are still there or not, right? So we close it first. Then we start the sandbox again. So start the sandbox again. Wait for a while for the sandbox to start. All right. There you go. All right, let's go to the downloads folder again to see whether the file just now still exists. All right. Oh, you see, it's all been cleared, right? So this is a brand new, clean environment for me to do another testing, where the testing that I done just now is gone. It's permanently deleted and removed. Right? So this is how we are very sure that the files that we open inside the sandbox environment is very secure and it's very safe. That won't harm our host environment. Right? So this is how the sandbox is working. So if you have any questions, that you can put inside the chat window. All right. So I will carry on with the lab number 2, where I will showcase the Windows security on a virus and threat protection. All right. So please hold on for a while. This is Windows security. Right. By default, it provides protection in terms of virus and threats, and as well as app and browser control. Right. So this is a built-in default protection application provided by Windows, and it's pretty good and for users who use it. Okay. All right. So for this virus threat and protection, what I want to showcase is how can I perform a quick scan. For example, I would like to perform a quick scan on my system. As you can see that this is where how it scans through the system. Right. So I will do a cancel now, right, to carry on for the other step, right? What if I would like to scan a custom folder, for example, let's say I scan a custom folder, right? For example, I scan the user drive, right? So the scan will perform, right? So I will cancel it, all right, to save some time on this scanning progress, all right? All right. At the same time, you can also change some of the custom setting that suit your needs, right? For example, you can make sure that the real-time protection is on, right? And automatic sampling submission is on, all these things, right? The cloud delivery protection is on, right? Right. Furthermore, I will showcase some of the example, like how we're going to use one of the features inside the Windows security to protect the ransomware attack. Right. So let's go to the features section under ransomware protection. Right. Ransomware protection in a Windows security provide a way to protect the ransomware from running. Right. It will be run with a feature enabled, right? So there's a feature called control folder access, right? By enabling it, system will protect those system file, Windows default folders, right, from attack from a ransomware, right? So I can show that what are the default folder that's available, right? So these are the default folder that is will be protected by these controller folder access features, right? So let's say I would like to add some other folder that into this protection, right? For example, I'm going to add a demo folder that is located in my drive C as part of the protection folder, right? As part of the protected folder, right? So this is done, all right? Then let me show you how I simulate the attack from the ransomware. All right. So I go to the File Explorer. All right. I go to Drive C. So this is the folder where I added to the control folder, right? I added it to the controller folder access, which means that the system will protect this folder from a ransomware attack, right? As an example, I have a ransomware script put inside this folder, right? So basically, if in normal situation, if once I double click or execute this file, my whole system will be encrypted by this ransomware virus, right? So because of this demo folder is being protected, right? I'm protected by using the controller folder access. So even I double click the ransomware file, nothing will happen, you see? So it's pretty safe, and the ransomware doesn't run at all because it's been protected, right? So how do I simulate it, right? Let's say I would like to see whether what will happen if I disable the protection, right? Let's go back to the Security Center, right? The Windows Security Center. Let's say I off it, right? So I off the controller folder access features, right? So now my demo folder has no protection in it. So let's run the ransomware 2 seconds to see what will happen, right? So let's go to the demo folder and we go inside. So let's try it, all right? See what will happen. Oh, let me see. I think it's still being protected for them. Oh. Execution. For the check. The execution. Okay, it's off. Wow. It doesn't run.
Something else is blocking it.
Yes, something is blocking it from running. I can't even simulate it. Let me see. Which of the feature is blocking the ransomware from running?
You do have a ransomware protection capability right, in here under the app and browser control. Now there you go. There's one there under the virus and threat protection.
Virus.
The first one on the left.
This one, right?
This one, no, that one. Go back. This one. Isn't that under the what you call?
It's here, I see.
Yeah, that's your control folder, but in the other, just go back one. Yeah, down here, scroll down. This one, the ransomware protection.
It's the same. It linked back to the same area.
Okay.
Yeah, because the ransomware protection has only one section, which is this one. Yeah. So basically, let's say it's in the on mode, and I added the protected folder. Right?
Yep.
So if I off it, so means that the protection is not there anymore. Right? Yep. So
try again.
Oh yeah, now it runs. It takes time to refresh. Yeah. So you see, by off the protection on this control for the access, the ransomware will affect our system, right? For this scenario, you're affecting our demo folder, right? So you can see that my demo folder files is being encrypted, right? I was unable to open it anymore, right? So I must call for rescue already, right? So so it harmed my system already, right? So as a demo, Microsoft allows me to temporarily recover it by decrypting the file again, all right? So I will proceed to decrypt it, all right, by running the executable file again. So we're back to normal. So I have only one chance, right? So it's better for me to turn the protection back, right, to be safe from ransomware, right? So this is how the ransomware will be protected by this Windows security. Let me carry on. Another thing I would like to showcase is a feature called network protection. Right. So because network protection will only be able to be enabled by using a Powershell, so I will demonstrate the way to enable the Windows network protection via the Powershell. Right. I'll call out the Powershell ISC. Right. I'll rank it as administrator. Let me copy the script that to enable the features. So this is the Windows PowerShell ISC screen. So let me paste the screen. So this Windows PowerShell ISC will help you to check whether the command that you type is correct, right? By showing out the different color to identify it's a command or it's an option, right? Or it's an action. Right? Let me enable it. Right? So it's running. Okay. So let me open some website in order to demonstrate how the network protection actually blocks the malicious site or malware to be running. First of all, I will call out the Internet Explorer to show you the different way that these network protection behave.
Any questions? Any questions, anyone, for Cole?
Yes. So far, any question?
Don't be shy.
Yeah, feel free to drop your question in the chat box if there's any. Okay, I shall continue. If there's any question, feel free to drop it in the chat window. All right. So this is your Internet Explorer, which has been used for more than a decade. All right. So I will go to a malicious site. This will be the site. All right. Let's try. All right. So you see that the Internet Explorer was not able to block it, and the malicious site malware had actually gone through the network layer. However, because of I have the network protection, right? The network protection feature enabled, so it's been blocked. It's been blocked by these network protection Windows security features, right? So what if I use more latest browser, which is Microsoft Edge, and navigate to the same site, right? As you can see here, it has been blocked via the browser layer by this Microsoft Defender Smart Screen, right? So this malware not even capable or enabled to run into my network layer. It's been captured by this Microsoft Defender Smart Screen on the browser layer. Okay, so this will added security capability to protect those malicious sites. Right? So this is one of the great features that's provided by this Windows security, and is enabled by default for Windows 8 browser. All right. Let me carry on. Right. Furthermore, I will demonstrate how the Windows Defender Smart Screen reaction while we navigate to this malicious URL, right, and malicious site that via this URL reputation setting, right. First of all, I will check whether all the setting is enabled. Okay, it's all on, right. Then I will go to Microsoft Edge. Then I will go to a Microsoft Defender test ground. Okay. This test ground is created by Microsoft, where allowing us to test a different scenario, right, in a different way. Right. For example, in this example, I would like to test Microsoft Defender Smart Screen, right, and I would like to test a particular area on URL reputation, right. So I can just go into the test ground here and click on the thing that I wanted to test. For example, I will try the scenario for a suspicious phishing page. Right? Let's click on it. Wow, the page is launched, and there is a warning sign to the user that you have to confirm whether this site is suspicious to be a phishing site or not. So this is one of the added. This is the added security feature set from this Microsoft Edge via these Windows Smart Screen features. Right. Then what if we try on a phishing site, right? A phishing page. Let's take a look. Oh, this site is been reported as unsafe. Luckily, I have this Microsoft Defender Smart Screen enabled, and it's been blocked, right? It blocked this malicious site for me. Then what about the malware page? A page that contains a malware, right? Let's take a try. Oh, I was lucky. I have this Microsoft Defender Smart Screen, and I'm safe from it, right? Then let's take a try on whether it will block on certain URL where it downloads certain file that's going to harm my system, right? Let's take a look. Oh, see, as you can see here, this free video.exe has been blocked by this Microsoft Defender Smart Screen, right, as a malware, right? Wow, I'm lucky, right? I'm glad that we have this Microsoft Defender Smart Screen helping me on blocking all these sites, right? Let's try on the export page whether any site that is attacking the browser vulnerability. Wow, this site was so dangerous, right? It was trying to attack my browser vulnerability, right? Good to have this Defender Smart Screen. Let's try with those sites with some smaller frame inside a frame of a particular page. Let's take a look. For example, the advertisement frame. So the site is safe. However, a particular frame inside the page is a malicious attack. You see? So if it's being detected and it's being blocked, right? As you can see here, the red sign inside is stopped by this Windows Security Protection, and a notification has been popped up here. So I am pretty sure that my system is safe by the protection from these smart screen features. All right, let's close it now. As for another example, what if I would like to see how does this Windows Security prevent in terms of application protection, right? So once again, to make sure that all the security features is enabled, all right? Because sometimes due to some program setting or some updates, right, certain feature will be temporarily disabled. So it's good to come here to double check all these features are enabled in most of the time. All right? So all are in a green sign, so I'm set to be here. So let's proceed for other tests. This time I'm going through a add reputation test. Okay, for example, I will click it out. Then there is 3 options for me to test. All right. Let's say I will test for some whitelisted application, which is available for the internet, which is categorized as whitelisted. All right. So I click on it. Wow, I can see that this free video.exe file is set, right? And it's allowed me to download. Then I can open it, right? It's available here. It's successfully downloaded, right? So what if I click on the link of a particular site where I have no idea whether the program is safe or not? It's an unknown program, unknown app. So let's say I click on it. Oh, you can see that the smart screen mechanism has actually stopped this unknown application to be downloaded as well as running. So it has been blocked here, right? So at this moment, I'm pretty sure that I'm safe from this malicious program, right? So I can just close it. Right? What if I go to a site where it has a non-malware actually hide inside, right? So see what will happen. So you can see here, the smart screen has worked perfectly on detecting there is a malware and it's been blocked and it was unable to be accessed, unable to execute, right? So this is how the Windows Defender Smart Screen help us to protect the malicious application and new website from went into our environment. And here is some resources that is available from the internet. Microsoft giving you an idea and in a very dynamic way via the video to show you their features and so on. Right. So I think that's all from me from part 1 of the lab. Right. So I will now pass back to Noel.
Question.
Yeah. Yes.
What operating system versions would you be able to find all of these features you just showed?
Yeah, the operating system that I'm using now is Windows 10.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Can we get these from Windows Server?
Yes, definitely. It's also available for the Windows Server. Right. So at the moment, I'm using the Windows 10, and of course, it's available from the new window that's coming on the Windows 11, as well as at the server level, which is Windows Server 2019 and 2022.
All right, cool.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Anyone
And,
have questions for Cole?
yeah, because this is a built-in features, really encourage that user will turn it on by default, right? And then do update it regularly.
Why do you think users will still want to go for a non-Microsoft solution for antivirus and so on?
I think perhaps they would like to go beyond or go into a next level or higher level, right? For example, Microsoft also have a solution called Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, right? So that is next level, or we can say higher level for the protection in terms of this on-prem solution, where it goes into a hybrid mode, right? We provide a better and higher level of protection. Yeah. So I think it will be good that we let Chua to showcase on how does this next level of better solution for Microsoft that can add on and help us to protect our system from this malicious application as well as malware.
Okay. Yes, totally agree.
Yes.
Let's see what is available. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, team. I'm just reaching out to Chua, right, who is going to join us shortly so that he can show you step by step what are the various protection that is available through the Azure system. All right, if you want the public cloud. All right.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks. So this group's very quiet, Cole. Yeah.
Why not I play some video for all you to have a look?
Yes, go ahead. While we wait for
Yes, I share first and then I share it with the audio.
Yeah.
You can see the screen?
Yes.
Let's watch the video that created by Microsoft. Can you hear the music?
Yes.
Hi, I'm
Ah, good.
And I'm Amitai, and we're from the Windows Security team. We're going to show you around the virus and threat protection pillar in the Windows Security app. This app helps you monitor and manage your antivirus.
Hi, Noel.
Screen for everything you
Hi,
need to keep your
Prof.
antivirus working.
Welcome.
Whether you're using the built-in
Okay,
Windows
give
antivirus
Paul a couple
or
of minutes
another
to just
antivirus
join
product.
this interesting
The
video.
virus protection screen serves as a dashboard for your computer's antivirus protection. A green check mark indicates that no threats have been found and that your protection is working. Yellow indicates alerts or warnings, and red indicates that you need to take action. You might need to update your antivirus, scan for threats, or help cleaning your device.
Go to the Settings section to configure Windows Defender antivirus capabilities, including cloud-delivered protection. Go to the Update section to check whether your antivirus protection is up to date, and check for new updates here as well. In the Ransomware Protection section, you can manage how OneDrive helps you recover from a ransomware attack.
If you have any feedback or suggestions about the app, please let us know through the Feedback Hub. We'll take a look and work on it to make sure that we can add it into the next release. Just press the Windows key and F keys to open up the Feedback Hub, tell us what's wrong, and we'll look into it. We hope this helps you have a great and secure Windows experience. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, great. Thank you, Carl.
Well, thank you. Over to you, Noah and Chua.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, over to you. Thank you.
Okay, let me show the screen. Oh, sorry. So this is about the lab. This is mine. Okay, I believe Core just now have shown you how to actually onboard and how to use the Windows Defender, right? So
yes.
I think it should be interesting. Okay, so now my session is about the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Okay, I'm not sure whether you have the lab guide. So if you go through the lab guide, it's actually this part. Great. Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. It's actually this page. Yeah, it's this page, Security Center. So the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So I will actually go through the demo on how to actually run this part of the lab. Okay. So the first part I will show is about the live response. So let's say you already on board to the Defender for Endpoint. Wait, I think I have to use another screen because due to the overwhelming of the session, so I cannot demo using this account. I have to use this one. Sorry. Okay, let me disconnect again. I'll show you. So this is about the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Okay, so once you onboarded to the Defender for Endpoint, then you will see your device actually recorded in this page, device inventory. Okay, but before that, let's maybe go through the dashboard first. So same like almost every system, they have a dashboard, and the dashboard will show about the summary of the system. Okay, example, active alerts. Okay, and then this is about the automated investigation. If you've got any case actually happening, this Defender for Endpoint engine will start to investigate, and then it will show something here. And then any device on the risk, it will tell you. And then who is the user on the risk, they will tell you as well. Okay, so next thing is about the device inventory. Okay, so I can see that my device is actually onboarded. This is the name of my device, and if I click in, okay, then I can see some security summary. Okay, but this session I will tell you about the live response. So to go to the live response, on the top here, you can see these 3 dots, right? Just click on it and click this one, initiate live response session. Okay, so wait for a while. Okay, so you will see something like this. It's a command prompt, but this command prompt is not a PowerShell and it's not a DOS prompt as well, but this is a live response command console. So it combine most of the DOS command, but with little bit PowerShell command and with others command which is integrated using the live response. Example, for those who first time use and not familiar, you can type this help command. So it will list down all those command which you can use to help you analyze the files or maybe the incidents. So the first thing maybe we can try is these connections. Oops. Okay, so if you click this connection, then it will list down all the active application which is actually running using any TCP/IP port. Okay, like example here you can see that SVC host using the port 135, right? And then any desk using what kind of port. So it's almost similar like your NetStat, but it lists down more clear. Okay, it's actually clearer compared to the NetStat because with all the applications, it will tell you that what kind of IP and then what kind of ports it's using, and then the remote IP, remote port as well. Okay, so another command what we can use, maybe we can list down this one. Okay, schedule tasks, because sometimes the attack, right, they will actually plant schedule tasks into your task scheduler. Okay, and normally we won't go in and check, but when the time you want to investigate the incident, normally you will need to check this as well. Okay? So we just key in this command. Oh, schedule. Okay, it's adding long. Schedule schedule task. So whatever actually running is actually live running and checking remotely towards that computer. Okay, so you see this is all the listed tasks, and then you normally once we need to investigate, we need to go through one by one and then see something which is weird or not. Because normally those tasks, right, it will be weird and it's not the normal one. So from here you are able to find it out. Okay, so the next thing we can check is about the services. Even the services, we can list entire from using the command prompt. Okay, these are the services running. Okay, so maybe you feel that like this is a bit boring, right? Okay, I find something interesting for you. Example, I want to find this file, report to, and I don't know this file, is it something good or maybe it's a malicious. Okay, then we can use that to investigate. Let's try this. Help. Okay, you will see this command called find file. Okay, so let's say I don't know how to use this command. You can always type help find file. Then it will give you the syntax of the command and even the example. Okay, so example, I want to find this file. I can always just key in the file name. It will go through remotely to check the entire computer where this file is located at. Okay, while waiting, maybe I will explain something to you because the find file will take some time. So after we find the file, then it will tell you that the location of the file. Then the next thing we can do is to analyze whether that file is actually clean or is a malicious file. you can use this command. Okay. And after analyze, and if you found that maybe it is clean, but you still worry that I think I better do something, okay, maybe to temporarily quarantine it, okay, you can use this command, remediate. Okay, this command can help you to check and quarantine the file. Oh, still finding. Okay, okay. This is going to take some time. Okay. While waiting, maybe we just check the file's location. Okay, so this is the place. Still finding. Oh, actually, this file is actually this live response is actually connected directly to the computer you see right now. Okay, it could be my computer too many files and big in size, so it takes time. But anyway, yeah, okay, good. Finally completed. So it showed that this is the path where the file located at. Okay, so the next thing I want it to be analyze this file using this command. Okay, so how to use that command? Again, so this is the sample. You can analyze file, you can analyze the process, even you can analyze the registry and so on. Okay, so we are now using this analyze file. So analyze file followed by the path. So that's why before that you need to find the file so that you know the path. Okay, start to analyze. File info command in progress. Let's see what will actually come up. Okay, while running, maybe I introduce something to you. Can you see this one, command log? Okay, so if we click this command log, it will actually record down all the command which we key in just now in this session at least. So let's say I click disconnect, and then even the output, it will actually record that as well. The output, okay, we try this connections. You see, the entire output actually recorded. The schedule task, services, and even I think it listed more is in neater way compared to the one we see in the command prompt, right? And the find file, okay, and then this is about the analyze. It's still running, still in progress.
Chua,
yes.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Who are the people that you think would be suitable to use a tool like this?
Normally is the IT admin who manage this Defender for endpoint. Okay. Normally, when will they need to use this live response? Actually, I will tell you later. When something happen, it will have the incident case log here. Okay, and once the incident case log, the administrator normally will go in and see something, and then from that incident and got a lot of alerts come out, and then from there they will still maybe they can start to see something like maybe the file name, the registry, and then from there they can start to do the live response checking. Okay, this live response checking is a convenience for the administrator to remotely checking, and it's actually silently. Okay. Oh, still running. Okay. Okay, maybe I open in another screen. Later we come back. Okay. We go through another test. So this is about the live response. Okay, all this is about live response. So if you completed the live response lab, the next is about the automated investigation. This one, automated investigation. So how will this happen? So example, some script, some malicious script, or maybe an unknown script actually running at the back end. Okay, so we have an example here. Let me copy something out. So this is the part one. Let's say somebody run the script. Okay. Then next, another script is actually running. Okay, so while this kind of PowerShell script actually running on the computer, it could be at the back end, or it could be initiated by the owner of the computer. Maybe they don't know. They see something, they just press it, right? So normally for the antivirus, if they don't have those EDRs features, they won't actually really check on it unless got something, got file actually appears, right? But in just the script, you won't really run the scanning. So unless you have the EDR, then you will have something called automated investigation actually will trigger and run it to check what is actually some suspected activity actually running. So it will start to do the investigation. So normally for the for this kind of investigation, it will appear in the portal maybe around 15 minutes later. But because of actually I got some cases, I got some testing running before that, so that you will see something actually happen in this automated investigation. Okay, but this is actually run earlier. You see the date is different from today. So let me show you. Otherwise, we will have to wait for 15 minutes, which is too long. So if you click in, okay, then you will see this kind of investigation graph. So from this investigation graph, it will list out something which is related. Example, this is the device. Okay, and then got alert received. What kind of alert? You can click here to see. And then for that alert, actually it related to this kind of files. So many files related. So you can click one by one. Later, let's look at it. So let's look at this alert. So okay, what we can see here got one alert, which is an anonymous scheduled task was really created. We further click in. Okay, you will list now in this hierarchical table view. You will see that one by one. Like the first one, this NTOS kernel exe, you will trigger SMS .exe file. And then from here, win log on, and then further down, like this one, win word. And this win word actually running something behind. Okay, and this win word, what is that? You can click it to see. So from here, you will see that, oh, this file, win.exe, the execution time. And then what this file is actually related to, and I don't know what is this. So from here, you will see the details, like the file details, okay, the location, the file detection, okay, and the file observes worldwide and observes in your organization, okay. So it will list out what very details to tell you that this kind is related to what, and is it the first time seen in the worldwide, first time seen in your organization, okay. So this is something very, I think, very important. Okay, so if first seen, then we will have to take extra precaution. Then other than that, some information you will see here is like the schedule, task, what actually is running. You will list out in details. Okay, you see the command. Oh, you see something like this one. WinATP intro backdoor.exe. Oh, something we think that is not right really. Sorry. Okay, and then from here we also can see that, oh, this path actually got this kind of file. Then you can start to use the live response to actually check this file. Is it still there? And then is it being quarantined? Or is it harmful to you or not? You can use the live response. Right, okay. So these are the information which we can know in details. And then here we have the devices. You will tell that which device actually infected. or maybe it's not infected, it's just like suspicious activity. Okay, from the case here actually, from here we know that this is not a virus, no threats found actually in fact. And then the entities, these entities actually is, if we go back to the investigation graph, here you see, this is about the entities. And you want to know the details, then here we'll list out the details. The files, 589 files created. So you can check it one by one, okay? And then the processes, the services running, okay, you see, a lot of like, mostly is what we know what is a non-file, so shouldn't be anything, okay? And the services, the drivers, the IP address, okay? A lot of things actually listed. And then the most important thing is it helps you to auto-investigate. Although it will take some time, okay? Like you see, this case, the investigation time is taking 21 minutes, okay? But at the end, it will tell you the result. There's no threats found. So as an IT administrator, you will feel that, oh, at least no need to worry, okay? So let's go back to the live response. Okay. So from here, just now we run the file, run the command, analyze file. Okay, still remember? Okay. After the analyze complete, from here we go through one by one. Okay. Files, the behavior, and most important thing is see this one. Status is clean. Oh, status is clean. Okay, it means that I don't need to worry at least. Okay. So, but if you felt that you still worry about it, you can use this command. Okay, then followed by the path of the file. At least it will help you to temporarily quarantine the file. Okay, oh yeah, because you got some automated cases running, so you will not able to actually run again. So you have to wait until the automated investigation case finish, then only you can proceed for this on. Okay, but anyway, this is the command which you can try on. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is about okay, let me copy the file again. Yeah, this one. Okay, before that, let me disconnect the session. So once finished, right, you just need to click this disconnect session. Okay, then it will disconnect the this live response for you. Okay, now disconnected already. Let's go to the next one. So this file got password. Let me copy the password first. The current password is here. So once I open the file, normally you will have this kind of security warning. So if the user, they don't know, they click this enable content, and then something actually executed. This is called a document backdoor attack. Okay, so some people actually they like to simply open the attachment from email. Okay, and then sometimes the document which is actually encrypted with the password, antivirus not easy to actually scan through, and we will not find the threats inside. Okay, so when the time people open and then key in the password, and then this is how the virus come in. As what you can see just now, got something running, right? Got the command prompt actually prompt, and then it actually created a file which is called WinATP intro backdoor exe file. And normally this kind of file will not appear in the desktop, of course. It will hide in somewhere inside computer, very, very deep inside the folder. You will not able to actually easily find. Okay, so but with this Defender for Endpoint and with this EDR engine, it will detect something. Okay, and once detected, it will have the incident case log. Just now we talked about the auto investigation, but this time I want to introduce is about the incident. This is like a support case. Okay, so this is the incident case log. This is also log earlier. It's not. Oh, this is two. Oh, this is today is 12. So this is the today one. Yeah, today. So the time here shown is not the Malaysia time, but it's the Greenwich time. So you have to plus X. So after you plus X, I think this is also not running right now. Which is I tested earlier one. Okay, let's click on this one. Okay, from here you will see more. Includes the alerts, evidence, and the graph. Just now, what I show you is the investigation, but this time is the incident. But inside this incident, you will see the things compared to the investigation is a bit different. Okay, the first thing which you can see is the alerts. All the suspicious alerts will actually log here, and then device, and then investigation. Here, this time you won't see the investigation already. Why? Because I run too many times, and it already know that this file is actually no harm, so it won't investigate for you already. Okay, but if this is the first time, it will investigate. Okay, and this about the evidence. Okay, something is actually running, then it's the suspicious one. That's why you list out. And let's look at the graph. So this is about a summary, okay? The summary graph to show what happening on that time, okay? When the time actually running, right? What actually has been triggered? Like this, we actually got this file opening, okay? Just now, I think I got this file opening. It also triggered Powershell running something. You also can see, okay? I think this is not nice. Let me find out the very first time it investigate. Then only you will see something interesting. Okay. Very first time one is okay. So this is the very first time. Yeah. Yeah. This is the one. Because if you keep on running the same thing, then the result you get will be different already. Okay. So if you see the first time I'm running this, oh, the investigation is actually more. Okay, you will see more things because it try to investigate more towards this case, this incident. And then the evidence. Okay, and the investigation. But at the end, is also actually is the nothing found. Okay, it's not a virus. It's not a virus. Okay, so this is the thing which I want to highlight to you. Okay, so for the alerts. Okay, and maybe I can go through another thing for you. It's about the features. So other than the investigation, right, and the alerts, right, this Defender for Endpoint will also give you the security recommendation. So it will list down what should be actually applied to make your computer more secure. Like example, update the Microsoft Office, update the Windows 10 because of this is the new security update for the 0 day. So you will see that the color is different. Okay, And even not only for the Microsoft product, for the non-Microsoft product like Adobe Reader, it will tell you also what should be actually done to make it secure. Okay, and then the software inventory, whatever the software you install inside your computer, is it safe or not? Okay, so if not safe, what should you do? Like this one, Office, you will list by the weakness. This is the highest weakness. Then Windows 10, Internet Explorer, okay, like this Office. What should you do to make it secure? Discover vulnerabilities. Okay. So these are the pages which you need to apply. Okay. So until this stage, actually, I can say that I almost completed the lab already. I completed the lab already. The last is about the incident. Okay. So once you found that this incident no longer actually it's considered resolved and is not harm to the endpoint anymore, you can close the case. So click this and click manage incident, set it to resolve. Okay, so that it won't show in the page. You will archive it. But anyway, if you want to see the archive case, you can always go to the filter to tick this resolve. By default, you won't tick. You tick this resolve and you apply, then you will see the archive case. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So that's all about this Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Yeah. Over to you, Noel.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Joel.
Okay.
So I hope all of you found the Azure Defender for Endpoint interesting. Obviously, this is not an end user tool. All right. I think the one that Core did on Windows security was definitely simpler. Windows security was a simpler tool, right? But with the threat intensifying, obviously we need multiple layers of security. Right. So what you saw earlier was the end user, if you want, almost driven by a user kind of base, but this is more if you want a dashboard view in terms of ability to manage security from the cloud, right? So essentially that was the first stage of it. And later we'll get Kenny to show you more even further on some of the other multi-layer security from Azure, right? We'll give him a few more minutes, and then what I wanted to do was to share a little bit, right, around Windows Server and the security aspects of it, right? Let me just share my screen. Any questions in the meantime while I get my screen up? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, can see.
Yeah? Okay,
Yes.
very good. Right, so what I wanted to do in this section was to give you an even broader understanding of how the technology come together, if you want. It's important sometimes to get a overview understanding of the technology, right? And I want to start by giving you what I call the one Microsoft view of from the private cloud right through to the service provider cloud and even into the public cloud, right? In the private cloud, essentially where the end user customer lives, if you want, they have numerous technologies. From Microsoft, they have technology like Windows Server. They might even manage the environment using System Center if they are bigger, all right? And some of the customers who have been using Microsoft for a lot longer, they may even have something called Windows Azure Pack, which is a self-service portal for private cloud. And of course, in the last few years, we have had Azure Stack Hub, and of course, even Azure Stack HCI, right? And Azure Stack HCI started in Windows Server as part of the Data Center Edition. And of course, last year, we also released something called Azure Stack HCI Host OS, or the 20H2, which some of you know. And of course, the same technology is also available in the service provider environment. So customers of yours, or even you may come from a service provider whereby you host infrastructure, you host applications for your customers and so forth. So you can leverage the same exact set of tools. Of course, you saw Troa talked about the Defender, all right, which is all wrapped up under, if you want, the Azure brand name in here, right? And of course, some of you may get a chance, if you're doing hands-on, to try the Azure Security Center, right? So there's a whole lot of capabilities that lives within this brand name called Azure, and that's all parked under public cloud if you want. Right? The important thing to note is it's all based on one consistent platform, which means that something that you can deploy in Windows Server, you can actually make that available in Azure, right? As well as protected, if you want, both on-prem in a multi-layered manner, as well as in Azure, right? That's the important thing to note. And you look at the bottom, right? Whether you are using the development tools from Microsoft like Visual Studio, right, or you're using management capabilities like System Center or Windows Admin Center, as well as productivity and collaboration tools like Exchange and SharePoint, right? And of course, even SQL Server for database, right? And identity with Active Directory, Azure AD, and so forth. And of course, Hyper-V for virtualization. All of these capabilities, if you want, form this comprehensive one Microsoft set of technologies that help customers, right? So it's important to note that when Windows Server 2019 came out a couple of years ago, there were 4 important aspects that the product team spent in defining this particular solution, right? And of course, in the near future, and some of you may have joined us for the 2022, all right, we also talked about these pillars. So at least in 2019, these were the 4 strong pillars that 2019, right, came in with. Firstly, starting with the hybrid data center capabilities, and you saw some security from a hybrid perspective in a multi-layered manner, all right? And then you saw the innovation if you join us for some of the previous sessions and so forth, as well as even the hyperconverged. So from a security perspective, if you want, right, we covered that the Defender for Endpoint, or now called Azure Defender for Endpoint, that Charles showed you, all right, that gave you prevention, protection against 0-day. And of course, there's a lot of built-in security capability that Core also showed you that allows you to protect your system and so forth, even down the kernel and memory sessions, right? So it shows really today, even from a security perspective, hybrid is the way, right? Why? It gives us a consistent way to leverage cloud services to protect the on-prem. So if you look at the first arrow from top to bottom, and then from the bottom all the way up is allowing resources down the bottom here to be managed from the top and also to be protected, all right? So connection for on-prem resources to public cloud today is starting to become more and more mainstream in terms of an integrated way to manage. So hybrid is the way, right? Starting with, I'm sure you saw in the what I call the webinar sessions that we did last week, right, with the Silicon Root of Trust that Proven talked about with ILO 5, right? And of course, that gave us, if you want, a very strong way for the system with the ProLiant service design and customized chip, right, and burnt into the ILO 5, all right, so that you get this Silicon Root of Trust protecting your UEFI and multiple firmwares and even securing memory, right? So ultimately, this is the strategy if you want to protect, detect, and recover. So you saw what I call Clement talked earlier at the beginning when I showed you his video. It says protect and detect is not enough. So you need recover and you need other aspects of it. So all these form, if you want, the on-prem approach to start the protection going. Of course, not ending there, we have the software layers as well, right? And of course, this may give you a better layered approach to understand how we come together, right? From a Microsoft perspective, from a HPE perspective. And from a Microsoft multi-layered perspective, not only is a protect, detect, right? There's a respond, there's an isolate, and there are three broad areas that we secure, right? Identity, the operating system, and virtualization. And this is from the, if you want, from the Windows Server perspective, right, in a multi-layered manner. But going beyond that, right, as you can see, there's a lot more layers of security, right? Even if we zoom in further with identity and access, you can see there's a lot more aspects of that, okay, in here, including capabilities like just-in-time administration and just-enough administration. These two combination is a very interesting, like a left hand, right hand. Just-in-time administration is akin to, if you want, an administrator that can administer only at certain times of the day and the week, for example. So even if you have a compromise, say for example, a malware managed to penetrate the system, managed to steal the identity of this administrator, but because the administrator has a window of when the administration can take place, outside that window, that user ID does not have administrative access. You're basically, if you want, controlling that ID or reducing the risk of that ID. Right? And of course, the other flip side to that is the right hand, if you want, is just enough administration. So you never give too much, you give it just enough. So if it's meant to do one thing like reset password, that's all it's meant to do, reset password. It is not able to create user accounts and all those other aspects of it. Okay, and of course, securing the OS, you've seen some of that in the lab that Cole showed you. And of course, securing virtualization, there's a whole bunch of it, all right? And in the past, we have actually shown you things like shielded VMs, which like in the last week's webinar session, we showed you that part. And that leverages the TPM version 2 chip on that server. So that gives you a very strong, if you want, foundation sitting on top of the Gen 10 and Gen 10 Plus Windows Server. And of course, the last bit of the labs, if you want, all right, apart from Azure Defender, which Kenny will show you shortly, is Azure Sentinel and Azure Security Center. All right, so let me see if Kenny is available, right, so that he can join us.
No,
Yes, Kenny.
I'm in the room.
All right, fantastic. You read my mind. Perfect timing.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Give me 1 second.
Sure, no worries.
Okay.
So how are the hands-on going on the other side, Kenny?
Yeah, it's good, good. I think everyone's getting to it. Only one person is nearing the end. The rest are still going on.
Okay, that's good. At least we have people cutting through it and
yeah,
heaps from it.
Okay, so I think for my session, I think I have done some recording. So
awesome.
Yep. So just to walk through, I think for what we have done so far is I think Cole shared this as well already earlier. So we did a Sandbox with security, and we did quite an in-depth look into Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, how it does with live response, and how things like automated investigation as well as works, right? So that was what Chua showed just now. And from my end, I think I will kind of talk a little bit more on the server side, right? So we'll be introducing a tool called Windows Admin Center. If you guys have not heard about it, it's a free tool to manage any Windows Server 2019, all the way down to, I believe, 2008 R2 with some certain limitation on that. But yeah, you can go all the way down to 2008 R2 to manage all the server environment, as well as even desktop Windows 10, right? And very much pretty soon will be Windows 11 as well. Okay, so and then from using this tool is said to be a bridge to the cloud, right? So it really is easy to connect to the cloud using this tool. So we use Windows Admin Center to connect to Azure Cloud, right? So we call it a hybrid connectivity, right? From on-prem to the cloud. And from there, we use this tool to onboard to a certain service called Azure Security Center. And also we test out some of the Azure Security Center things, as well as exploring Azure Security Center and also Azure Sentinel, right? So there's a full cycle of just really touching on some of these technologies, right? Okay. All right. So the first part is for that is really quite straightforward. Let me just make this a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Since runs this. Okay. Somehow my mouse is not working, so I'm like using the mouse.
The trackpad.
Yeah, it's not so intuitive.
Maybe your battery is running out.
Yeah, I will figure out what's wrong with it because my second monitor, I think it's the port or something. Let me just check it out. Cool. All right. So let's go. Current slide. So very easily from the first part of my labs, that if you run through it, something is wrong. And the video is not playing. I don't know why. Let me hold on. Yeah, no, just let me figure it out. Yeah, it's not playing. I don't know what's wrong.
Sometimes I realize it maybe not enough memory or whatever it is.
Could be.
Any questions from the audience while we get Kenny back up? Don't be shy. Anything that worries you, concerns you from a security perspective. We also have some really deep and talented cybersecurity specialists. Right, we have Clement Arol in the breakout room doing testing out the labs as well. Right, he also wants to make sure that his experience with the multi-layered security in Azure is current. Right, so no questions. Hello. Maybe I can ask a trivia question, right? Everyone is so quiet. So how many of you are based out of Malaysia? Drop me an answer in the chat window if you're based in Malaysia. Okay, we have one. Anyone else? How about Singapore? Any of you based out of Singapore? Okay, very good. We have a few from Malaysia. Anyone based out of Singapore in the group? How about Philippines? Anyone from the Philippines in the group? Yes, yes, we have. Thank you. Thank you for responding. I recognize the names of the people. All right, so I know there's quite a lot of friends from the Philippines in the group. Anyone from Indonesia in the group? Yes, we have one from Singapore. Thank you. Thank you, Kingdom.
Okay, no, I'm good to go.
Yeah, you good to go? Okay, okay,
Yep.
awesome.
Cool. Wow, there's so many people from different countries, right?
Yes, yes, we are in a multi country region. Yeah.
Okay, so for the first part of my lab, this, if you guys are going through it, that after you're done Tross lab, we will actually go into a 2019 server, and it's in a nested virtualization hosted in the Windows 10 machine, right? So we're gonna turn on this Windows 2019 server. Okay, we're gonna log on to it quite straightforward. And what we're gonna do, the first part is that just to check on the name, the host name. And then we're gonna install this tool called Windows Admin Center, right? The tool that I talked about just now. It's easily available on the Windows download website. So you can just download it. And if there's any Windows environment that you guys have, you can use this tool to manage it. All right, yeah. So it's a free tool and it's a very useful tool for management. Okay, so I will not bore you guys so much with the straightforward installation, but it's just pretty much next, and just speed it up a little bit. All right, so once you get there, once you're done, we are going to install it. All right, we're gonna click on the link, and it will straightaway open to a web portal of sort. Right, it's a web GUI to manage this machine, and you can use HTML5 browsers. Any HTML5 browsers, we're using Edge right here, right? Chrome works as well, and Firefox works as well, right? Okay, so this is just show how easy it is just to install, and these are all the different areas you can manage, right? From the overview and looking into the whole everything about the server, computer name, OS, how much RAM, disk space. And you can see that the model is a virtual machine. All right, and you can see that the Microsoft Defender antivirus is turned on. You can see the status here. Okay. All right, so this just pretty much give you an overview of the performance of what's going on in this server right now. Okay. And all the different services, right? You can see that on the top here, there are a few hybrid services, and then apart from that, you can see the devices here. All right. Okay, so it's pretty much a very all-in-one management tool, I would say. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next one. Is after onboarding, I'm still installing. Okay, now we're going to use this server and we're going to connect to the Azure cloud, right? How easy is it to connect to the cloud, right? Oh no, the first thing is that we're going to use this tool to actually do some firewall rules, right? To manage some firewall rules using the tools here. There's a network tools here, etc. There's also a firewall rule here. Right, we're gonna just to show the administration on how easy it is just to use this tool to do some enabling some rules. Okay, over here we're actually able to ping this server, and from the security perspective, we want to make sure that we want to harden this server. We don't want to let it be able to ping, to be able to receive any ping. All right, so we're gonna block it. All right, so what we do is we're gonna firewall. Go to incoming rules. Then we will just doesn't show that thing. Right, it's an echo request, right? ICMP4 in rule, right? I'm just going to disable it. So once I disable it, we're going to jump back to the VM and the other side, and with the test ping. Right, from here, you see that we can't really press. Right, so we actually block the ping from happening. Okay, so that's the first part of what we did. After which we're going to use Windows Admin Center, and we're going to jump into this icon here, settings, and we are going to add an extension, and security extension. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to add a security extension. We're going to click install. All right, so special reload. Very quickly, it will reload, right? And then we go back and just see that it's been installed. Okay, so it's a security extension here. Now it's just an alert scan. For the first time running, you have this little error here, but don't worry about it. We're going to do some scheduling. We just want to do a full scan every day instead of a quick scan. Okay. And we're going to just initiate a quick scan. So it's a very simple exercise just to show that Windows Admin Center actually can integrate together with Microsoft Defender, right? The Windows Defender, and any of the attacks here, you can actually see it here, right? Now we're going to trigger some rules from this end. Right, scanning progress. Okay, so that is the second exercise that we did. And then we'll move on to the next one, which is still connecting to Azure. All right. Firstly, it's very easy to connect to Azure. Okay, you see here that it's actually very step-by-step, right? For part 1, part 2, part 3, it's just very straightforward. Select Azure Cloud. You can select Azure Global as well as Azure China. There's an option here, right? And after that, you just copy the code. Enter the code. Okay, and then you just can key in the provided credentials, key in the password, then we're going to log in. So once we log in, all right, we're going to click connect to create a new application. Connect. And then we should be able to sign in. All right, so just sign in. And now you've connected this Windows Admin Center to the cloud, right? So that's how easy it is to actually get on hybrid, right? It's not that complicating. You just need one Windows server and Windows Admin Center, and now it's considered hybrid, right? So now we're going to onboard this server onto Azure Security Center, okay? Which this enables you to actually monitor all your devices from the security point of view, right? Any things that has been triggered, you'll actually be able to see an alert on Azure Security Center. Okay, hang on, configuring workspace agent. Just take some time. Let me speed it up very fast. Okay, Azure Security successful. Right, so you can see, take some time. And you see, once you're onboarded, you have recommendations and alerts. So recommendations is when the server actually starts to understand your server and will give recommendations security recommendations based on the server usage. Okay, and if there's any vulnerability on it, it will give you recommendations to fix it. All right, so now you have onboarded them, right? So the next step is actually we're going to check on very quickly. We're going to do some test download, right? I think this was done even by Cole as well, Cole at least, right? We're going to download some ICA tests just to have some alerts that we can see on the Azure Security Center. So now we're going to test some downloads of the ransomware. Okay. Okay, we're going to see a ransomware found, right? Been blocked. So we can see all the history on this. And another thing is that we're going to run a command here, which will actually mimic a potential malicious way to actually escape the app blocker. So this is just for us to trigger a high severity incident in Azure Security Center, right? So once you just run this command, you actually be able to see it's actually a command that some hackers use on any system files, right? So this behavior mimics of some of the hacker. So when the Azure or the security devices senses these things, they will actually block it and give an alert. Okay, so there is. So just now it's once you install, you can see the protection history. You can see everything that was been detected as well as blocked. All right. So now we're gonna next is to explore Azure Sentinel. So we'll bring them to look into how we connect to Azure Security Center. Okay, so protected. We'll log into it, and we're gonna. You can see the alerts there, potential attempt to bypass app blocker. So that was the thing that we did just now on the command prompt. It will actually show an alert already. Okay, so next, this is Azure Security Center, the overview of the environment. There are a few parts here. We can see Azure Defender, regulatory compliance, firewall manager. All right, so this environment enables you to manage everything in terms of security. Firstly, it's a secure score dashboard. All right, so you will look into how secure your environment is and give it a score. Okay, so the higher the number, the more secure it is. All right, so my number is very low right now. It's a 27% because it's a test environment, right? So in this case here, we have enabled MFA. So all these things will gives you a step-by-step things to actually look at, to actually increases the score and increase the security posture of your environment. All right, so sometimes when we want to say, especially from the management, we want to see how secure is our environment, right? Now you can have a number to show management, right? Okay, this is how secure we are. And if it's not that secure, what are the things we can do, right? So these are the steps, the controls, right? Enable MFA, multi-factor authentication. All right, so that will increase 10 points. All right, secure management pods, remediate vulnerabilities. So this gives you a step-by-step environment to actually manage and slowly build up the security posture of your environment. All right. Okay, next is that this Azure Security Center do not only manage on Azure, all right, Azure environment, do not only manage on-premise, all right, it also manages AWS as Google Cloud Platform, AWS as well as GCP, all right, so you can actually onboard any servers from AWS and Google Cloud Platform, and you actually be able to manage them and have them be part of this recommendation secure score dashboard, right? Because as an organization, you do not only have resources at one location most of the time, Okay, so this tool actually enables you to actually look into holistically everything in your environment. Okay, you can actually onboard AWS as well as a cloud. So you can see here, connect your AWS account here, connect your Google Cloud Platform account here. All right, so that's all about Secure Score. All right, let me just move on to the next part. Is that
Hi, Kenny.
yes?
This is Patrice from PNN, so probably need to speed up a little because we have overrun a little bit.
Oh, okay, sure. No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, just very quickly, just look into Azure Defender here. All right, so from the Azure Defender point of view is that you can actually look into the defense systems of all your environment, not only servers, in the storage accounts, everything, all the resources within Azure, you can actually manage them, all right, as well as all the advanced protection devices. Okay, let me just move on quickly. Okay, just now we actually triggered some alerts, right? And now from here, you can just see some alerts here. Security alerts, all the information that we actually took just now, the accounts, the administrator, what happened, what did we download, what is the things that was triggered, right? We use that command, right? REG-SVR2, right? To actually, this is a potential attempt to bypass ad blocker detected, right? So when that happens, they actually trigger alerts here. All right, so that's where you can see all these alerts. And also you can look into file integrity monitoring, all the changes and things like that. So it's a very deep tool that there's a lot of advanced protection built in as well. All right, so, and the next part, okay, another last part is that there's also a compliance piece that actually can do compliancy, right? Security policies, and actually help you to actually look into the compliance, such as PCI DSS, ISO 27000, SOC, and gives you kind of like a step-by-step thing to actually build your compliance of the company. All right. So it is all out of the box, and as you want to add more standards, you can. Okay. Right. So that is that. And then the last part is that we're going to explore Azure Sentinel, right? It's an SIEM tool that gives you an overview of security events, right? SIEM tool, what is SIEM? SIEM is a security incident and event management tool. All right, so anything related to security, this tool can take in and understand it from intelligently and start to actually do analytics on this tool. All right, for example, you can say that, oh, I already have Defender for endpoint, right? Why do I need this tool, right? This tool gives you information, you correlate information from all the different tools. For example, from the firewall to the endpoint to all the different parts of your security system where they don't usually talk to each other, right? So the endpoint is the endpoint, the firewall is the firewall, the WAF is the WAF, the load balancer, the load balancer, and everyone just tries to block their own thing. But SIEM tool comes in and actually piece all this information together, all right? And this SIEM tool is actually natively on cloud, right? There's a lot of players out there who requires you to have a box and you actually pump in data, but this is just everything is in the cloud, right? So from here, you can actually connect data connectors to actually connect this to many different sources. All right, you can see here there will be Apache, Barracuda, Cisco UCS, all sorts of different F5, even VMware. So anything you want, you can actually put it up and they actually correlate all this. So this is just showing you how easy it is just to connect Azure Defender to this tool. Just need to change the status to connect and you'll be connected. All right, so this is a simple one. All right, so apart from that is that once you get that, you actually have the ability to investigate further onto this environment. right? You can just now the same incident you can view, and you can even go fuller detail. There's actually a map that you can actually investigate here. Click investigate, and you can look into the attempt to bypass, all right, and the timeline as well, right? So if there are a lot of incidents that happen, they will actually do it, right? Show you the timeline, what happens, because we need a tool to actually understand in sequence, right, actually what the hacker tried to do. So this actually helps you to actually get an understanding of it, right? So it's a very useful tool, all right? So you can do investigation further, and this is ICAR test file, right? Another part interesting is that, okay, we have actually this is not generated by us, right? So suspicious authenticated activity. I actually have a virtual machine in the cloud that's running, and has a public IP. All right, so nothing been done to it. We just put a public IP, and just by having it up in the public IP, there's already an attack on the server itself, right? So you can see that they actually use a dictionary to try to come in and attack, or at least try to log in. So they use a certain amount of dictionary, such as administrator, a few users, right, that are commonly used one, and they try to actually log in. This is they didn't succeed, but it shows how dangerous the web is out there, right? So as long as you just have one server out there, they'll just scan any ports that's open, any public IP that can be go through, they will try to attack. So I just have this security VM. So I just thought it's quite interesting, and that this has been detected as well. Okay. Right, suspicious activity. You see here, there are top accounts with failed, right? Administrator, blah blah blah. They tried a few accounts, right? User ID. So yeah, so these two actually can help to look into that as well, right? I think I'm running out of time. Let me just pass you back to Noel as well as the team to just close it up, right? Hope you guys have any questions, just drop it down, and we will actually be happy to answer that. Okay.
Thank you, Kenny.
No problem.
You. I think from a security perspective, definitely Azure Security Center and Azure Sentinel have a role to play. Right? But as probably most of us know, security is a very specialized area, and it does take time for the different people to get the hang of it. So it's good that we have a recording, and we'll make that available to everyone so that they can watch it.
Everyone can see the screen?
We can.
Yes, can see.
Okay, I think everyone can start the lab, right? So this is what we're going through, right? First of all, this will be the AnyDesk that we're going to use into and connect into the virtual machine for the hands-on lab, right? So
if you have any problem with connecting the hands-on lab to the AnyDesk, let us know. Okay, we will jump in to help you. Right. So, yeah.
The chat window is enabled, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think if any user have any problem, difficulty on login to the virtual machine, kindly put your message in the chat window. All right. So this will be the AnyDesk. You're going to get your AnyDesk number that assigned to you, and you type into the AnyDesk windows. Then you click on connect with the password that given here, right? And after that, it will log in into the designer virtual machine, where the password is the same as here for admin. Once you're logged in, you can start to proceed with your labs, right? But before that, there will be a prerequisite requirement to onboard the system to the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Because this onboarding will take a little bit of time to be appeared and sync up on the Windows Defender for Endpoint. So we will advise it to be performed first, then before we carry on for other labs. Right. So basically, you just need to open up the Microsoft Edge on the desktop, enter the following URL into the Edge browser, right? Then it will navigate you to a Microsoft Security Center with a login, and this will be the login ID and the password, right? Once you go into the dashboard of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, kindly scroll down at the left panel until the very end. There is a menu called Setting, right? Once you click on the setting, kindly click on the onboarding, right? After that, you will leave all the default selection on the screen and you click on the download package. Right. Once the package has been downloaded, then you will navigate to the location where you save the downloaded package and you unzip it. Right. Once you unzip it, you rename the folder to a shorter name. We call it endpoint. Right. After that, once you go into the unzip folder, it will be a setup file. Right. It's a CMD file with a long name as a Windows Defender or ATPO onboarding package something. Right. You rename it to the shorter name, something like a setup by CMD. Right. After that, it opens the command prompt. Right. With administrative right, and you navigate to the following path and proceed with the onboarding script. Right. So this will be the script running script, and you will need to put yes to confirm the script to running, and the message is saying that it's onboarding, and it will show that successful, and press NT to continue. Right. Once you get this message, and then it's pretty much done on the onboarding process, and you can proceed with the lab 1. Right. So this will be the starting of the lab 1, where we started with installing the Windows Sandbox. Right.
So
okay,
basically, yeah, let's add a little bit more. Basically, the first entire lab 1 and lab 2, lab 3 is exercises on your client PC as a laptop, what you are using. On that, what all the securities you can able to get experience and how much you are aware of. That's the first experience which would be given. Okay, and go ahead, Ko.
Yeah, so we shall get go through this process with the user, or we shall let them to do it on their own first.
So meanwhile, everyone has received your AnyDesk login details, right? And just try to log into your assigned VMs. If any issue, please ping us or unmute yourself and speak to us. And you have a name which is allocated, which is a facilitator name. You can call directly their name as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the link has already been sent in the chat. And also, if it's convenient for you, you can also scan the QR code that is being shown in the holding slide now to complete the survey. Please help us to complete the survey so that we can make the next webinar session a better experience for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Beatrice. Well, that takes us to the end. There isn't much more we will do at this point, but stay connected to the community. All right, we do have more coming. All right, the plan at the moment is we're planning to do a second part to the hybrid IT webinar that we covered back in June. All right, so hopefully you can join us for that. Maybe I can just quickly show you what we have. All right, just been shared with the EDM. All right. Let's see. Let's look at the EDM. Okay, so just a quick one, just before you leave. Right, I think this will be something of interest to you. For those of you who've been following some of the webinars and so forth that's coming, So just look out for this, that we're going to be sending out probably in the next week or so. Right? The plan is to do this on the 8th of September, right, which is probably about 3 weeks away, right, where we'll dive deeper into how the work from home, the hybrid IT solution sets, allowing you to go from on-prem to cloud and so forth, can be brought together in a more secured manner, so that you have a reliable remote work scenario, right, that you can implement within your organization. And yet, depending on a highly scalable software-defined storage and networking environment at your data center. Right, so if any of you are interested, you can always just ping us in the chat window if you want. All right, and we'll definitely send something out to you in the very near future. All right, thank you everyone. Thank you, and hope to see you again next time. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed today.